Good morning, everybody. I'm Teresa Perrin, and this is my stock market watch list for Thursday, January 19th, 2023. Please remember that this is not telling you to run out and buy these stocks. This is solely a watch list on stocks I believe have high probability to make moves today. Now, after I gathered my information, I had two more news articles that came out. So I'm going to start with those. And unfortunately, I don't have a picture for you. But APGN has new clinical data for their phase 2 trial that came out, and it is ripping. And Uber announced they are working with somebody to develop electric vehicles. So Uber might be a very interesting play today. That being said, the market is bloody red. Crypto is bloody red. And I don't know why, but I feel like this was all kind of strange because PPI actually came out good. It shows that cost is going down to wholesalers, which means that it's deflationary. It means that the cost will be trickling down to us and be lower soon too. So I'm not quite sure why the market had such a sell-off yesterday, unless it was something that the Fed said, or God knows, at that summit they're all at in Switzerland, maybe something happened there. But guys, at any rate, I think that it was overkill. I think the algos kicked in and dropped it way harder than it should have. And I, for some reason, have this gut feeling today that we're going to get kind of a rebound rally. Now, I could be totally wrong, but do not marry a stock in any position, please, because that is the biggest way to blow up your account. And guys, remember, you can always sell and buy the stock back, okay? Taxes, depending on what you're trading and stuff, a lot of times you can save yourself a lot more money by selling and buying back, even if you wait the 30 days for the wash tool, than by holding on to something that's just a falling knife. Please keep that in mind. Sometimes I have to pinch myself and listen to my own advice because I think I have attachment issues, and they say that your psychology of how you are as a person comes out when you're trading, and you need to be aware of that because it will tell you a lot. And it is very, very eye-opening, guys, if you can really take a deep dig into yourself and why you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing. At any rate, that being said, let's get into the watch list. Core, ACOR. So if you didn't see it last night, I made a video on this. I highly recommend that you watch it because I truly believe that this play is going to be my next CABA. Those of you in CABA know that we ran it from 88 cents. Some of you were able to get in lower because it did have a dip before it ripped. And my buy-in price, though, was 88, and I am up 1,188%. so far in that trade. And guys, it has just been unbelievable and hit a new 52-week high yesterday, 1 cent away from the gap fill. But I believe that a core has the same things that I saw in CABA. So it is a very high priority on my watch list. I've been waiting a long time for this to push through $1, which it finally did yesterday. And it's up slightly in pre-market as well. So I am looking forward to see where this goes. DRIP, D-R-I-P. All right, as long as oil stays red today, you will see DRIP, because this is the inverse oil fund, with 3 times leverage, or 2 times leverage, excuse me, will continue to make its moves up. Yesterday, it had a very nice move, and it just continued, and it's continuing in the after hours because oil is looking red this morning. So keep that on your radar. NRX Pharmaceuticals had an announcement that they're getting close to FDA authorization. They met with them, and apparently they know what they're looking for, and they've come to terms. It has not been authorized yet, but keep an eye on NRXP. I kid you not, this stock a couple years ago had this amazing run, like literally double-digit run that just was crazy. During that time frame, a lot of things were running, but I believe that this has been very heavily shorted and could potentially make another huge move in the coming months, especially if they do get that FDA approval. APRN. Okay. They tanked this yesterday. And guys, this is one of the most heavily shorted stocks in the entire stock market. with huge backing behind it by Joe Sandberg. So I don't think it's really at high risk of going bankrupt. I think more likely that Joe Sandberg will end up taking it private and buying out all the shares. He has a commitment to buy them at the top of my head, it's somewhere around $5 or $6 a share. I think it's $6, but could be $5. Anyways, like another $50 million worth, and he's only bought 1 million. So clearly, Apron, when news breaks that he buys more, will absolutely rocket, in my opinion, especially if he buys a big chunk, not like last time, 1 million. But I also think that if any pressures gets put on these shorts, they're going to get screwed, and this could really take off. So keep it on your radar. Mullen has a shareholder meeting today. I did a video on that last night. I highly recommend you watch it. I do believe that he is not able to do a reverse split at this time until the lawsuit is complete, because the share count could be completely wrong, guys. So important to know that on that news of not doing the reverse split or not having that vote, I think that there's a possibility this could take off. Whether it's today or whether it's at the court proceeding next week, I'm not sure, but watch my video for more information. Novavax. All right, I've been eyeing this because it's been beat down very hard. Yes, you wouldn't believe that this was trading in the high 300s less than a year ago. Or maybe somewhere around a year ago. You might have to go back to the 2-year chart. But anyways, at any rate, it's been beat down very hard, guys. And I do believe that if shorts continue to have pressure put on them, that you are going to see some covering start in Novavax. And if any good news breaks that sends this flying, I believe it could absolutely tear faces off, like massive squeeze style. So keep it on your radar. I'm not saying it's going to happen today, but you need to know about it, because yesterday we saw an interesting move, see the spike up here. But then when the rest of the market fell back, it did too. Bed Bath & Beyond. Okay, guys, this is a very high-risk play. You need to know that. A party yesterday filed bankruptcy and did the strangest thing I ever saw without warning. Just took the stock right off the New York Stock Exchange, and it's going to OTC this morning. It'll open up at 9 a.m. or 9:30, I believe, with a Q attached to its ticker. So, you do run this risk in BBBY, but this thing has a huge short interest, and if they do a bankruptcy like Revlon, you are going to get a massive squeeze into this play, in my opinion. But do not over leverage yourself in this, because it does have high risk attached. Kaba. All right, guys, we talked about that first thing when I told you about Accor, and I believe that Kaba is going to continue moving higher today. It has a new 52-week high that brings eyes on it, as well as the fact that it was 1 cent shy of filling that gap at $11.60. It went to $11.59. Now, some would argue that officially that closes the gap, but it's still a penny. And on some charts, you know how it is. So at any rate, I do believe that Kaba has had a lot of good things going for it, and that it continues to move higher. So I am keeping an eye on it. Carvana, CVNA. Oh, by the way, guys, though, I'm not mirroring it. If I start to see that it's really dropping, then obviously I know what I need to do. I'm not going to ruin all my gains, but it's still high on my radar. Anyways, Carvana, CVNA. All right, this is another one that was ripping up through $8. You can see it almost has a triple top in the past week. It's really struggling to get through that like 820-ish, 825-ish range. So, and that's off the top of my head. So go back and look at the chart. But I believe that's where we've been struggling. Anyways, will the fourth time be the charm? I think it continues higher today if the market does. And I do believe that Carvana can push through. They had good news this week about something they're doing to stop shorts from trying to do a takeover, which I think something crazy is going on inside this business, which we're seeing, unfortunately, in a lot of stocks. Anyways, Carvana is high on my watch list, because this is another one that was trading at $300 and something. And dang, if this thing breaks out, God help them. All right, ATXI. Again, guys, I do not know how they accomplished what they did yesterday, because there were no shares left to borrow. Now, Were people selling and jumping into something else? That is definitely a possibility. However, I think like algorithms went into it that could have potentially led to selling, which could have created shares available for shorts. At any rate, I am watching this for a continuation of its move upward. I really don't believe ATXI is done by any means. TCBP, another one, guys, that I believe we should have gotten a lot higher on that news yesterday, but I think that this chart is setting up very nicely with good pullback, so I am looking for a continuation to a move higher this morning. I do believe that it's dipping in pre-market. I take that with a grain of salt, and yes, it may dip a little further before it moves up, so if you missed it, you may find an opportunity, but I don't think this play is anywhere near done. TAL, everybody's been asking me, what is going on with TAL? Why is it falling? Well, guys, because it had earnings and EDU, it had earnings this morning, which were not good, by the way. And EDU also had earnings a couple of days prior that were not good. So I think a lot of the selling may have done pre-anticipatory. What happened with EDU, and we'll see if we get a similar situation with TAL, is EDU sold off on the earnings news, but then has been rallying back to the upside, and it's actually up today. So for that reason, I think TAL may have had a lot of this factored in. We'll see how the market takes it, but those of you who missed TAL may find a good entry. It still has that gap to fill up to $19, and off the top of my head, I think it's around 60 cents too, believe it or not. So keep TAL on your radar today for a potential off the rebound low of bad earnings. And guys, bad earnings had to be expected because China was shut down, right? So just that's why you see the figures you see. XRTX. Okay, XRTX filed for international protection. Oh, that wasn't it. Hold on. I found something else after. They announced positive top-line results from XRX Oxy 101 clinical trial, and XRTX was up over 100% this morning. I wouldn't be chasing. I would be looking for a pullback if this is something you want to play. All right. Oops. Sorry. Skipped ahead. 1 second. All right. GNS, Genius Group. All right. I already told you what's going on with GNS and how they hired Wes Christian. So I do believe that they keep trying to take it under 50, but it keeps rebounding off of that. I am looking for this to come up. I'd like to see it break through 70, and then I think that we could have a really big move coming in. They did prove naked shorting in the stock. So again, keep it on your radar. And also yesterday, they announced that they launched a new business enterprise, Genius Music. So it didn't get much of a move on that, guys. I would have expected something more. Sometimes you get a delayed reaction where, things were crazy in the market yesterday. So maybe today it makes a nice move off of that. So keep it on your radar. Also, GNUS. I am keeping on my radar. Oh, wait, was that Genius Brands? I always confuse these two. Guys, I think that is GNUS that got this news. It was. Forgive me. That GNS, go back to the first thing. They both have the same name, Genius, and the tickers confuse the heck out of me, and both of them are on my radar, so it's making it even more confusing. I apologize. The thing about the music was with Genius Brands, I believe. So, anyways, they didn't get much of a move up either. Yes, they are up 17.67% in the past week. But actually, you know what? This will tell us right here. It is. It's Genius Brands. See down the bottom, it has the ticker. So I apologize. So at any rate, it announced the music. It went up and it pulled back and it's starting to move up again. But this chart, I'm trying to show you that it's in an uptrend. I think that Genius Brands has had a lot of really good news as well. And I think it's undervalued at this level. So I would keep it on your radar. Apologize for any confusion I caused. Now, going to PRTY, I just want to reassure you that PRTY, literally, you cannot purchase more if you're on Robinhood with this. Guys, I opened a very small position, literally only 200 shares because I didn't trust it and thought that this might happen. What I expect when PRTYQ opens back up is that it falls and then has some sort of a rebound, but I'm not sure because it's not normal that a stock that's in bankruptcy literally gets no warning and they just delist it and stick it to OTC. Like, even if you look at AVCT, they gave shareholders a week. Today is the last day to trade that, so it doesn't add up. Anyways, keep it on your radar because I'm not sure what's going to happen in this case. Normally, when a stock announces bankruptcy, you see a massive dip followed by a move higher, but I don't know that that will be the case with this one. I have to be honest, be careful. RPTX, they received a 1.5 million payment from Ono Pharmaceuticals, which I think could, oops, that was Tal again, sorry, which I think could send it up higher today. It hasn't made much of a move in pre-market. In fact, it was flat when I checked it, but RPTX will definitely be on my radar. Tal, we know, but just to show you, I wanted to show you that it was down in pre-market, and right here it was starting to have a bounce. This is when I started filming the video, so I'm not sure what it is doing from here, but like I said, look for that bottom and a bounce. And then just so you can see, this was the earnings. They had Q3 EPS of 0.04 cent. It missed it by its 0.02 expectation, so it was a 6-cent miss. And sales were at 232.7 million, which was a 239.83 million estimate. So quite ugly for Tal, unfortunately, but the question is did Wall Street price it in? I believe that's why we've seen a move down without anything otherwise to bring it. And remember that this is a heavily shorted stock that's been beat down all the way from, you know, those COVID highs. So at any rate, that's what I got for you today. I'm also keeping my eye on Adder still. I love the way that it basically consolidated yesterday. It had very little effect of the market crashing, which is a very good sign. It will likely make a move higher. And I'm also eyeing BBIG, guys, because they have a crazy high options chain. So things could get very interesting with that today and tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and crypto, like I said, is down. So unless it starts to rebound rally at the open, then be careful, because that means all those crypto mining stocks too will continue to fall. So thank you so much for watching and have a great day.